Walker Buehler reboots his rehab with mixed results. Despite what you read online, Andy Enfield leaving USC is kind of a big deal. And USC football once again indicates it's dead serious about finally playing defense. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and start for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. It is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is April 2nd, 2024. I am back home with the wife. Little tiny story. My wife likes classic rock. For whatever reason, her shuffle this morning played the song from when Phoebe Cates got out of the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Oh, it's going to be a good day. But what's going to keep it being a good day is talking LA sports. And if you like being in the know about Los Angeles, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. You know I look forward to hearing from you guys, even on special days like yesterday when we had breaking news. Now, before we go through the news and notes and look at the scoreboard, Teoscar Hernandez hit a 3-run home run yesterday. His fourth, just like Mookie Betts. Freddie Freeman goes 3 for 4 with 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and James Paxton cruises in his Dodgers debut, beating down the Giants 8-3. Like I said, it's a good day. Unfortunately, the Kings do not match up. They are now on a 3-game losing streak after losing to Winnipeg 4-3. Don't look now, but the St. Louis Blues are on their heels, just 3 points behind the Kings for the last spot in the Western Conference playoff chase. Meanwhile, today, San Francisco's at the Dodgers again at 7. Tyler Glasnow is 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA, but he might not be starting. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Logan Webb for the Giants, 0-0 ERA of 3. Lakers at Toronto at 4 o'clock. Gabe Vincent did make his return on Sunday in Brooklyn, but he will be sitting tonight because they're trying to ease him back into the rotation. He hadn't played since before Christmas, for Pete's sakes. The Lakers are 3-1 on a 6-game road trip. Also, Clippers at Sacramento at 7, a win tonight, and the Clippers would sweep a 4-game road trip. But let's get to the news. So over in Oklahoma, and you'll have to trust me on this because I wouldn't want you to have to visit Oklahoma, Walker Buehler pitched 3 1/3 innings, threw 54 pitches in a rehab start with the Oklahoma City Dodgers, their AAA team. If the goal was to make it out of the start with his arm still attached, mission accomplished. If, however, the goal was to show that Buehler was ready to get back to the major leagues, then 3 earned runs. Dude conceded a home run, a couple of walks. His hardest pitch clocked in at 95.7 miles an hour, which, to be honest, isn't even as fast as pre-surgery Buehler, but it ain't bad. Now, Buehler's rehab, let's be honest, not exactly the most auspicious of debuts. It could go as long as 2 months out in Oklahoma City. But aside from the fact that you would want to pitch for the Dodgers, I don't think anybody wants to stay in Oklahoma that long. I wouldn't wish that on an enemy, for Pete's sakes. So, stumbling out of the gate, perhaps. Stumbling out of the gate. We are hearing mixed reports from the Dodgers regarding who is going to start tonight's game. Tyler Glasnow is scheduled, if the rotation were normal, to be the starter tonight. But CBSSports.com and the Orange County Register claim that the Dodgers want to go with an all-bullpen game tonight. So, once again, in need of arms, the Dodgers started shuffling randos up from the minors. And I'm starting to wonder if actually pitching for the Dodgers is that much of a big deal if you are a prospect. Because there's no way in hell of knowing how long you're going to stay. You could be called up while you're eating your cornflakes, you get on a plane, next thing you know, you haven't even had a double-double and you're back on the plane to Tulsa, right? Welcome back to the major leagues. Dinelson Lamet, or Lamet, I should say, who was supposed to be part of Oklahoma City's starting rotation, but he even pitched in last night's game. If the name rings a faint bell, by the way, it should. Lamet finished 4th in Cy Young Award voting back when he was pitching for Slime Diego in 2020. He's had injury issues ever since. And speaking of injury issues, if the Dodgers are in fact going with a bullpen game, it really shouldn't be a big surprise, considering Glasnow's lengthy injury history. Lamet replaces Nabil Krismat, who was just called up Sunday. Sucks for Krismat. The dude, he gets the win in Sunday's game with 2 shutout innings. And what was his reward? The dude got designated for assignments. Thanks, guys, right? I mean, it is seriously easy for a guy like me to be a loyal fan to the Dodgers. I'm just not so sure if I could pitch relief if I would feel that loyalty right back. That's all I'm saying. Yesterday, we posted a breaking news clip when it finally became official that Andy Enfield was leaving the Trojans to go coach basketball for SMU. And the bloggers who had been gossiping nonstop about it for a week, then all of a sudden went reverse course. Oh, they can't wait to tell you how horrible this is until it happens. Then all of a sudden, not a thing at all. It's not a thing. And I read that, and I gotta sometimes wonder if I'm the only person who's watched Trojans basketball for maybe more than 5 minutes, right? Because this is their question. Oh, if Andy Enfield's so great, why did the Trojans keep getting bounced in the first round of the NCAAs? Losing Andy Enfield is a big deal for USC because before he arrived, the Trojans would have been considered damn lucky to get to the NCAAs in the first place. I'm a USC sports fan. I'm not that blind. USC has played horrible, just brutal basketball for the absolute majority of my life. I'm perfectly willing to admit that UCLA basketball is light years better than USC could ever have been. I remember who John Wooden is. USC hasn't even had a coach half as good as John Wooden. They've tried. Henry Bibby, do you remember him? Until Andy Enfield came along, Bibby was considered one of the gold standards for Trojans coaches. George Raveling, Stan Morrison, do those names ring any bells? No, this is a problem. People would hear every so often when they watch an NBA national broadcast, and they would hear that a player went to USC, and everybody's like, nah, stop lying. DeMar DeRozan didn't go to USC. That's how terrible USC basketball has been. So the question is not whether this is a hit for USC. It is a hit for USC. The more interesting question that I have, in my opinion, is did Enfield F up by going to SMU? He's replacing a guy who got fired after having a 20-win season. When Enfield was hired by USC, the Trojans gave him all kind of leeway to gradually build a program up in his image. And granted, he got to the Elite Eight once in 11 years, so we're not exactly looking at him as if you're looking at, say, Dean Smith. I get it. But SMU is looking at this guy as if he's Dean Smith. Without the facilities that USC has, the gym is over 70 years old. And yeah, USC has that old school money. For SMU, who knows anything about SMU other than Eric Dickerson? Now, as for whether or not the USC job is attractive, I would have to say maybe. There are, again, state-of-the-art facilities in LA. There is a decent recruiting class coming in. Now, whether or not they stay going to USC, I can't guarantee that. But if they do, you've got some tools there to work with. And you would imagine that Bronny James would stay for the right coach. I don't know. There are a list of who the Trojans would allegedly go after, but nothing's been confirmed. So I don't want to just throw randos' names up against the wall and say that's going to be the next coach for USC. But I would tell you, I would wager that the USC job is more attractive than the SMU. I have no idea why Andy Enfield would leave other than this. Let's stay with USC. Once again, Trojans football has added defense to the class of 2025. With a recruiting cycle that's already considered top 5 in the country, how close are the Trojans now to being number 1 in the country? Because they added another defensive recruit in the top 100. Linebacker Matai Tagoai of San Clemente. Now, Tagoai said the obvious, that the new look defensive coaching staff is being very serious about putting together an elite defense for the men of Troy. Quote, "It definitely shows me that Lincoln Riley wants to put an emphasis on the defensive side of the ball, because I think he knows that to have a winning team, you need a defense that can stop different types of offenses that they're running in college football," unquote. And for a teenager, he's absolutely right. There are a lot of teenagers out there who think they know how the world works. At least this kid has an idea of how college football works. Absolutely. USC tried all offense all the time. Look where it got them. And that was with a Heisman Trophy winner, and that was with a coach who's considered one of the greatest innovators in college football offense. The recruit is the 11th ranked linebacker, 7th ranked player in California. Now, to be clear, a lot can change between now and the early signing period. Other schools can come along and just basically try to woo the player away. Maybe they have hotter co-eds. I have no idea. But the fact that USC has been adding a lot to defense and adding linebackers is a positive step. After the Trojans and the Bruins both blew it in the 2023 bowl cycle, they both lost their bowl games late. I ranted about the first school that embraces sanity will be the one that goes on and advances. The first school that plays defense. USC is trying to add offense and defense. And by the way, if this linebacker is good enough to wear number 55, then you will know USC football is definitely back. Meanwhile, as for the here and now, the Trojans quarterback room added some needed depth with 3-star recruit for 2024, Jack Stupin of Tustin. Seems like only yesterday we were talking about how the Clippers looked so damn complacent. Like they were just on cruise control, like they were the Walking Dead. Now that wasn't really yesterday, it was just 6 days ago. If you recall that clip from 6 days ago, we were talking about how Clippers coach Ty Lue was calling the team soft. The current win streak, though, 3, is the longest that they've had in 2 months. Both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George said the difference has been in the rebounding. Quote, "We're all trying to make a group effort in getting one stop and limiting a team's second chance points," unquote. That's what Leonard told The Athletic. Also with the Clippers, anybody who's watched this show for any length of time knows that I have a lot of respect for Russell Westbrook. All the way back when he was playing at Oklahoma City. Now, I know he played for UCLA, but I don't watch a lot of college hoops. I just saw that dude light people up night after night when he was in Oklahoma. But anyway, one of the knocks with Russell Westbrook is that you can get under his skin. And it's childish how you can get under his skin. But that's what happens. Sports turns grown-ass men into children. We start acting like it's the playground. We're all bullies to each other over the stupidest things. Sunday in Charlotte, Westbrook got into it with a fan who allegedly clowned his name. Now, this story is getting super tired. And as much as I respect Russell Westbrook, this is on Westbrook. The 4th time this year that he's gotten into it with a fan who clowns his last name. We are presuming that he called him Westbrick. 4 times in a season. And Russell Westbrook also missed a month of the season due to an injury. Now, to be clear, I wouldn't call the dude Westbrook. It's not even a funny nickname. It's not a funny taunt. When I was in the fourth grade, that calling somebody Westbrook is right down there with when you're in the fourth grade and you have a friend named Chester and you call him Chester the molester. Why would you do that? It's not funny anymore. At some point, your humor gets a little bit more adult. Point I'm trying to get at is you being Westbrook can cause yourself and your team some serious issues because you have false pride over some drunk lout in the first row. But there's Westbrook, quote, "I won't allow it no more. I've stood for it for years. Now that my son is old enough to know what's going on and asking me, quote, 'Hey dad, what does that mean?' Now I gotta stand on it," unquote. Now, I'm the last guy ever to give parenting advice, but if your kid asks, "What does that mean?" you could just tell him that the guy in the front row is angry because he has to stock shelves at Stater Brothers after the game, while you drive home in a Lambo. That's what it means. The Athletic is reporting that the Galaxy are finalizing a loan with Deportivo Pereira for center back Carlos Garces. The deal would include a purchase option. Garces is 22, and honestly, it is a needed addition for the Galaxy. If you take a step back and look at it, the Galaxy have exceeded expectations in that they're first in the Western Conference, but their back line is still a little sus, and it's damn near in tatters. Jalen Neal hasn't played this year at all with an abdominal injury. Martin Caceres left Saturday's game with an apparent leg injury, and we still don't know how long that guy's going to be out. The Kansas City Chiefs have signed now former Rams quarterback Carson Wentz as a backup. Okay. You know how the Rams would sign guys and get compensatory picks when they go somewhere else, like with Baker Mayfield? Don't get your hopes up with Wentz. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Is your glass half full or totally empty regarding Walker Buehler? Are you crying tears over Andy Enfield, or are they tears of joy? And for that matter, talk to me about USC football. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports here every single day. And thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Porta El Queso production. Take care.